Hello and welcome to Sunday Night Stories. I'm Emily Wilden, and each week I'll be narrating stories from new and talented writers. For more information on where to listen or how to submit a story, please visit the Sunday Night Stories Facebook page or follow us on Twitter at Sun Night Stories. Dream Spiders, Real Hippos. Written by Lucy Corbett. Narrated by Emily Wilden. Chapter 1. Waking up before a dream had reached some sort of dramatic peak or conclusion always annoyed Romilly. She didn't expect a full, neat narrative arc. After all, a life is rarely a neat story with a satisfying conclusion, she told herself. And so it was unreasonable to expect our dreams to be the same. But still, sometimes waking from a dream at a particular point felt acutely unsatisfying. In the dream from which Romilly had just awoken, for example, there had been no blood, no biting, no shooting, no deaths. This was not satisfactory in a zombie dream. The story had barely started, and here she was, already awake again. She sighed and checked her phone. 03:28. 2 emails. She turned over and pulled the duvet up over her shoulders. She knew that it was possible to resume a dream, so maybe this would happen if she concentrated. She needed to take herself back into the dream. Romilly clenched her fists slightly, ready to fight the night zombies who would hopefully soon return. But Romilly did not return to the zombie dream that night, and it was disappointing. She dreamed about being in a small corridor, wearing Wellington boots and underwear. At one point in the dream, she talked to her boyfriend Freddie as he kissed her neck. Then he walked away, and she had to kill spiders to get him to come back. The more spiders she killed, the closer he got, but she couldn't actually see him. It was by the general dream knowledge a dreamer possesses that she knew he was getting closer. She squeezed the spiders with her bare hands, crushing their grape-like bodies. It was satisfying, although in real life she liked spiders, and probably would not have bothered killing one. The next morning, as she got out of bed, blood gushed down her legs as she bled through her sanitary pad. It happened sometimes. She tutted to herself and lifted a towel from the washing basket, dropping it onto the floor and standing on it, twisting her feet and clenching her toes to absorb the blood that had reached them, wedging the towel between them, and then waddling like a gory penguin to the bathroom. It was Saturday, and Romilly was not working. As the assistant manager of a leisure centre, she often did work weekends. But not this weekend, or the weekend after. Next weekend she was going to visit Freddie. This weekend she had a well-rounded programme planned. Romilly liked to make the most of her weekends when she didn't have to work. Days off in the week did not feel the same as a weekend without work, and so it was something to be cherished. Today she was going to run 10 miles in the daytime, and then meet her friends Tara and Sam in the pub in the evening. On Sunday she was going to get up early and walk to the seafront to watch the sunrise over the sea. Then she was going to do her weekly food shopping, go to the gym for a weight session, and finish the book she was reading. Romilly was pleased with this plan. It seemed like a well-planned, well-rounded weekend, in which all aspects of things in life she enjoyed were going to be covered. Except seeing Freddie, of course, but she would spend all the following weekend with him. In a different situation, Romilly and Freddie would probably be deeply in love by now, or at least comfortable and contented and committed. As it was, things stuttered along in a way that was neither heartbreaking nor happy. Living too far apart was the first problem. It had not endangered the atmosphere of romantic longing and bursts of passion for which Romilly had first hoped. For her part, the separation of their day-to-day lives did not bother Romilly to a great extent. She had not expected it to be difficult. But for Freddie, The lack of regular, convenient interaction led to boredom and forgetfulness. He was not as organized as Romilly, and often struggled to dedicate a whole weekend to spending time with her. Romilly had decided to see this as poor planning, rather than selfishness, or a dearth of strong feelings. In a week they would be together. Romilly was going to stay at Freddie's house for the whole weekend. The last time they saw each other had been 5 weeks ago. "I missed you," Freddie told her. He wasn't lying. He really had. Romilly took a shower to wash the blood off her legs and feet. She hadn't planned to shower until after her run, but her period had ruined that idea. For the last minute or so, she slowly turned the water colder and colder. Romilly enjoyed running for all sorts of reasons, but her favourite was the feeling when sweat ran down her back. It felt exquisite to run along as a bead of sweat trickled downwards from between her shoulder blades, all the way to her lower back, where it was absorbed by the waistband of her shorts. She would start off sluggishly, but as soon as she began to sweat and feel the drips making their way down her body, she ran faster and faster, smiling at the sensation. A 10-mile run was a good couple of hours' worth of tickly, sweaty pleasure. The first part of Romilly's run was uphill, not steep, but a fair gradient. Romilly liked this. It got her to that first stage of wanting to stop quickly, so she could push past it and start enjoying the run and the sweat. She ran along a street of houses. It was a street of large terraces, close to the pavement. When she walked, she liked to look into the houses as she passed, trying to see something odd or sinister, a crime being committed perhaps, or a fight or an argument, or something out of the ordinary would have been a treat to observe. But now she ran too fast to be able to look. The windows flicked by, and were gone before she could make out anything inside, sinister or otherwise. At the top of the street she turned right into a short alleyway, which led into the park. As she ran through the park, on the paths that wove about, twisting one way and then another around the trees and flower beds, she liked to pretend she was being chased. Sometimes she imagined it was zombies pursuing her, sometimes a more cerebral type of assassin. The path tracked a meandering circuit around the lake. At the centre of the lake, there was a small, uninhabited island. Whenever she ran here, Romilly always thought about swimming out to it, but as yet, she had not attempted to do so. She was sure she would at some point, even though it was probably a terrible disappointment. What was she hoping to find there? She knew it was just a small, muddy patch, covered in nettles, and probably stinking of duck shit and decaying leaves. Would it even hold the weight of a human? Or would she sink into the mire and drown as soon as she set foot on there? One day, she planned to find out.